Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. It is Monday, June 15th. It's a beautiful sunny day today, and I just thought I'll go over a little column that I seen in the Wall Street Journal today about our economy and what can we expect in the future and what we can learn from the past couple of months and what we can do to prepare ourselves. So I'm just going to start off by summarizing pretty much what I read. I already read the article, analyzed it, and took a couple of notes. So I'm just going to bring you what I felt was the more juicier parts of the article. So I'll just start off by reading. The first part of this recovery would be rapid for the businesses that can safely reopen. Recovery is going to be slowed down significantly for businesses that cannot reopen in a safe manner. I think that pretty much goes without question. If you're not working in a safe environment, I know a lot of news has been going on about coverage about meat packing or meat processing plants. A lot of workers are like protesting, and actually a lot of them are getting sick and dying. A lot of workers are just not showing up. So that pretty much falls under the line of businesses that are not being able to reopen in a safe manner for their workers. So those businesses are going to be hindered. Secondly, I want to go over my notes here where between the months of April and June, businesses have been reopening rapidly. And although millions of labor workers have filed for unemployment, there's also millions of job gainers that no one has been focusing on. Probably has to do with a lot of other news that's been going on, especially over the pandemic of the coronavirus, and then most recently the death of George Floyd by a police officer in Minneapolis. So there's been a lot of civil unrest about the injustice, and I'm not going to go into that topic. I mainly want to stick to the business aspect. So there's other factors that are affecting the economy that goes without saying. The Fed officials are putting unemployment at a 9.3% in the fourth quarter, which is as high as the peak of 2007 through 2009 recession, and GDP down by 6.5% from a year earlier. So they're saying that things are looking kind of grim. Private forecasts are more optimistic, and economists at Goldman Sachs estimate that consumer spending is now at 90% of pandemic level, which would be an increase of 74% from April's levels. That 16% that retail was down, so they've recovered 74% of that 16% decline. And that manufacturing and exporting stabilized in May, so last month, and the firm, which would be Goldman Sachs, sees GDP down by 3.8% from a year earlier, as opposed to the Fed's numbers, which would be 6.5. Goldman Sachs is saying is closer to 3.8 earlier from a year earlier. Moving on, JP Morgan is revising their fourth quarter drop from 6.3% to 4.8%. And with all these shock factors going on, what can we expect from the economy? So there's a lot going on, obviously, a lot of factors going on affecting the economy. The Fed is saying one thing, private investment firms such as Goldman Sachs are saying another. So what can we really expect? The unprecedented shock means that one should be ready for the economy to do either better or worse. And the pandemic has pretty much been the most destructive disaster in the last century. But they're saying that as the disaster activity is receding, then economic activity should shoot up rapidly. But a lot of investors and economists still have their doubts. And one reason for the doubt is the fear of infection could slow the recovery rate until a vaccine is developed. So pretty much they're pumping the brakes until there's a vaccine, and then once we can get a vaccine going, throughout the nation, then we could see a rapid growth. But until then, we're pretty much going to be on a crutch for now. And the rises in cases in those states that have reopened early is starting to rattle some investors. last week, as they fear that a renewed lockdown would be in order. But still, overall, infections haven't been meaningful, and even if there is a second wave that develops, states will be reluctant to lock down again, especially after the economy shut down and a lot of people were out of work, a lot of people lost their jobs, and it's been pretty much the worst unemployment rate since 2007, 8, and 9. So, we're not ready for another shutdown. People don't want, to shut down the economy again. It's only going to do more damage, so people are going to be reluctant to lock down, and the strong the month of May jobs data had led some lawmakers to question the need for further federal stimulus, but that resistance is mounting, and even if the recovery is coming along quickly, we're starting from such a deep hole that too little stimulus would be riskier than too much. So, there are some lawmakers that are questioning, like, should there be any more stimulus? Are we good? We're recovering. Last month in May, there was a lot of job recoveries, people that were getting jobs. So they were just thinking, like, should there be more stimulus? But that's going to be riskier. Better to have some than not enough, pretty much type of situation. And pretty much my whole takeaway from this article is that you got to put yourself in a position to where you're not going to be vulnerable. You got to have systems in place. That's what this whole video series and channel is all about that I'm making, is to kind of open your eyes up and read some news, meaningful economic news to you guys, to let you know that there's more to life than just the 9 to 5. If you're not investing, I would highly recommend investing into the stock market, because even though a lot of people are losing their jobs, they're losing money, if you're paying attention to what's happening in the stock market and you position yourself, you could really make a lot of money. You can make hundreds into thousands, and turn thousands into tens of thousands, and tens of thousands you could turn into hundreds of thousands. If you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. So basically, that's what I'm trying to do, is get you guys to think, investing. Another thing that you can do that you can't go wrong is putting your money into gold, precious metals, platinum, gold, silver, stuff like that. That's going to retain its value over time. Stuff that I would avoid doing is obviously the basic stuff that people do. They go out and they buy video game consoles, flat screen TVs. Us as Latinos, we gotta have barbecues, the carne asada, food, drinking, going out, stuff like that. You could easily put that money into the stock market, have it grow for you, or even just as like a savings, instead of having a certain amount of money in your bank not doing anything, put it over here into the stock market, have it work for you guys, and have a plan, and then act upon that plan and grow your wealth. So basically that's pretty much it. Start the conversation, start thinking about it, and eventually do it. And right now it's a perfect position, because there's a lot of this going on, but if you can get in here, then the economy is going to go up. We're not going to be in this slump forever. So it came down, as you can see, I put some notes here, pretty much in April, you see, but it does go back up, and it will continue to go back up. That's why you got to position yourselves to make money, as the economy, as the economy recovers. So basically that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.